So your unusual talent is that you lose a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know me, you'd probably think differently. But man, whew, now I'm starting to feel bad about this. But and it's maybe because I just lost it. A lot of the things that I just mentioned you over the past week, cornhole and golf and those things. And I'm a little disgruntled about it. And I can't wait out there. And you guys know who you are. I can't wait to get back out there and beat you guys, man.
Pete, you're one of a bunch of former players now on the staff. Of course, you got D-Tap back in the mix with you over there. Jack Tyler's been around for a few years now, gotten to know him pretty well. And Ham, like we've been talking about. What's that like for you guys right now as you're continuing the tradition, but kind of in a new direction at times too?
Well, the thing about having former players on the staff is we're guys that were here. We put on the same uniform that the players that are here have put on. We have been playing in the same stadium. So we not only are experienced with the game of football itself, we are experienced at being Hokies. We understand the culture. We understand the feeling it has to put on the burnt orange and maroon. So it's an advantage for us. And the remainder of the staff, the guys that didn't play here, they understand the advantage of having guys that have played as well. Our advantage is that we were Hokies and we played here, and and I think we have a special connection with the guys that are playing here.
I started out as an intern covering Winter Park for the Minnesota Vikings, so I've been in some NFL locker rooms. There's a lot of school pride that gets thrown back and forth in those locker rooms, aren't there?
Well, you got to understand that on the NFL level or in the NFL locker room, you have the elite athletes that have played football to its highest level and that are all true competitors, guys that really enjoy competing and they hate losing. And most of these guys are really prideful about their college teams and their high schools. And so on Saturdays, it was all about going in and getting that quick walkthrough in and getting back into the team lounge or getting on the plane or getting somewhere where you could pull up the game that's on TV and watch your alma mater perform. And it was about, especially if one of your teams were playing someone else's on the team's college, it was really, you stood a good chance of a really good argument, maybe some fist fights, or losing a whole lot of money. One of the three. Every Saturday was very important on what happened on the college football field. And I held my ground with Virginia Tech, and for most of my career in the NFL was that career where we went to all of those Lions Bowls and won all the ACC championships. So I owe these guys a whole lot, man. These guys did a really good job of giving me a good ground to stand on.
Well, speaking of NFL career, sometimes I think it maybe gets overlooked how solid your career was. 12 years in the league, as they say, NFL, not for long, and the average length of the career, 3 years. How were you able to take what you learned not only at Virginia Tech, but before that and your skills and be that productive for as long as you were at that level?
Well, I think one of the things, especially in the era that I was at Virginia Tech, that prepared you for the NFL was being a solid special teams player, understanding your role within the team no matter what it was, and being on time, fit, chin straps fastened, and being ready to perform every day. There are two types of players that make it for a long time in the NFL. And those are the very elite, top-notch Hall of Fame players. They have Hall of Fame careers and they play for a very long time. And the other guys that have longevity in the NFL are guys that are dependable. And those guys may not be superstars on the team. Those guys may not be leading the teams in sacks and interceptions and touchdowns and tackles. But NFL coaches, GMs, love to have guys that they can depend on, that are going to be on time, that are going to be prepared. If someone gets injured, somebody that can go in there and manage the game and continue the winning edge or the winning effort that you have with your starters. And I fall under the second of those. I was a player that was a very valuable backup, somebody that can come in and run the defense from the secondary. I played multiple positions, but I also took pride in playing on special teams and leading the special teams out on the field. So I think I developed that hard work mentality here at Virginia Tech. So it made me well prepared to understand my role on the team when I wasn't a full-time starter. I had an opportunity to start 16 games in the NFL, started a lot of games in Buffalo, some in Washington, but the majority of my career was what I learned here at Virginia Tech. Team first, special teams, grind it out, do your job, and know your role.
You're a part of the Saints team that beats the Vikings dramatically in the NFC Championship game, wins the Super Bowl eventually, and really lifted up the entire city of New Orleans that was ravaged, of course, a few years prior to that by Hurricane Katrina. Just what was all of that like, becoming a world champion, really, like I say, elevating an entire region of people?
During Hurricane Katrina in 2005, I was in Washington, and one of my friends on that team, Robert Royal, had his whole family displaced from New Orleans. He was an LSU guy, New Orleans guy, and they were all living in the Virginia area. And so I had my experience then, but it wasn't until 2009 when I got there that I saw the city still in demise and still in ruins, and what they all rallied around was the Saints. And at that time, Drew Brees had been there a few years, and when I got there the spring of 2009, I felt something different. And at that time, I really didn't understand that we were getting ready to do something as special as we were able to do in winning the Super Bowl. We had a great nucleus of a team, and we put these bracelets on. It's upside down. It says finish strong. I have one on since 2009. It says finish strong. But we created something special that year. Ultimately, one of my best years of my whole entire NFL career. It was special. The city of New Orleans rallied around it. They came together. It was something big for a city that needed it, a city that was trying to rebound from the catastrophic events of Hurricane Katrina. And I'm indebted to that city for allowing me to be a part of that for 2.5 years.
Hey, Justin Fuente putting together that staff, I think we're all really excited if they ever let me come to practice again to see how you guys work together and get back on the field, which hopefully we'll be doing here relatively shortly. But there's a Justin Fuente that the public knows, and there's a Justin Fuente that very few of us are fortunate enough to know, and that Justin Fuente is a smack talker. I'm playing golf with him for a couple of days, and I know he's going to be talking smack right out of the clubhouse onto the first tee. What is that internal Justin Fuente like to work with as he leads this program?
The side that you got to see playing golf with and the side that we see here around the facilities or on the golf course or away from the facility is a very loving, competitive, fun football coach. And, everything that he loves about football, he carries over into his life. He's a competitor. He loves his family. He loves his coaches. He's really good to all of us. And, it's that side I don't think everyone gets to see, because on Saturdays or standing behind a podium or answering questions about why you didn't win a football game or why you didn't get this recruit or why this or that didn't happen, sometimes you have to put up a shield or you have to present yourself in a manner that is correct so you can be right. But coaching football and loving and caring for people, all those things come natural. And you get to see that when you're around the building or you're on the golf course or you're hanging out at his house. You get to see that. Those things come natural. Around here, we really appreciate the guy that he is. We really appreciate everything he does for this program, for his coaches, because we know exactly truly where his heart is and what he does for this team.
Hey, great catching up with you, man. Thanks.
All right, man. Have a good one.